Welcome to episode number 592 of Let There Be Talk. It is May 24th, the Monday. Welcome, Del Razors. Del Razors! This episode is brought to you by the incredible sponsor, CBD Lion. You got joint ache, you got anxiety, having trouble sleeping? Get yourself some CBD Lion. Go to cbdlion.com and use the code DEAN for 20% off. I've been using CBD Lion for over a year. This is the cleanest CBD out there. None of that truck stop garbage. This is clean, third-party tested CBD. You want some tinctures? You need yourself some roll-on CBD for joint aches? I use it. I've used it on my neck forever. Now I'm using it on my old knees. Yes, CBD Lion. These guys are family-owned, and they are family of Let There Be Talk. Get yourself a discount. Don't be paying full price for your CBD. That's insane. Also, they got stuff for your pet. You got a cuckoo dog? Get yourself some CBD Lion. CBDlion.com. Use the code DEAN. Do it. It'll save you money. It helps the show, and it helps a family-owned company out of Chicago. CBD Lion. All right. You want to talk about some hit songs? I'm talking full radio domination. I'm talking about Styx. It's unbelievable the amount of hits that Styx has. And my man, my guest today, Dennis DeYoung, wrote a lot of those hits. This guy is the magic, man. Look at this. Lady, Too Much Time on My Hands, Babe, Fooling Yourself, Renegade, Come Sail Away, Blue Collar Man. It's insane how many hits he's got. Don't forget Mr. Roboto. Unbelievable. Just radio domination. Think of those bands back then, man. Like Foreigner, Styx, Boston, the Eagles. They're on the radio every day right now. Every day, every hour. All these groups are on the radio. And you know why? Because of kick-ass songs. Writing a hooky super hit is next to impossible. But there's people out there that have the gift, the magic. They've got the music in their head, and they get it out there, man, and it gets into your head, and you are hooked. You are hooked. Dennis DeYoung, great guest. Can still sing like the day he sang Lady. Unreal how good this guy's voice. Pure natural. Been playing music his entire life. His entire life. This guy is winning. Yes, I want him back in Styx for one more run. Who doesn't? Who does not want to see original members? Whenever I see a band and the original members are alive, but they're not playing in the band, it's just a bummer. I get it. Bands are the hardest thing ever to do. I've played in bands. I know it. But when you have an army of fans, suck it up, get your own bus, and get out there and do it. Especially after COVID. Are we after COVID? Does anybody know? Is it over? Who knows? But it does feel better, like I said a couple weeks ago. I just got back from the Bay Area. Always great to go home and see old friends. Man, it's just, it makes me choke up, man, when I get to a show in the Bay Area and all my old friends show up. It's just beautiful. It's like a class reunion without the boring people. It's just the cool kids. It was great, man. I was at Alameda Comedy Club. Macy Isaacs did a kick-ass job featuring, and we had a great time. 3 out of the 4 shows were sold out. packed houses, everybody laughing. People need to laugh after this long year and a half or so of dark gloom and nonstop bad news. People are ready. So I don't even know if the new jokes are funny or if just people will laugh at anything. It's at that point right now. We'll find out in a few months when we get jaded again, when we're out there like, all right, that joke's not that funny. Write some funny shit. Anyway, thank you, Bay Area friends and family, all of you. I love all of you guys out there. I got to see Andy, old Death Angel Andy. Craig Bearhorse was in the house. Eric Wong was there, man. Old friend of mine, Eric Wong. Steve McDonald, Joey DeBono and Fletch. And McTesla was there. McTesla. Inside joke. All right. Enough of fucking reminiscing. Thank you guys for all tuning in to the Cactus Radio Network, my new podcast network. I cannot thank you enough. Dark Fonzie is fucking kicking ass. The amount of positive emails I have gotten from all of you on Dark Fonzie is mind-boggling, and I love it. I just love people when they're happy out there. It's cool. And also At Home with Byron Katie. A lot of people digging that. And of course, The Grail and Let There Be Talk. I did go to the Cow Palace. If you saw my photos on Instagram, it was unbelievable. The episode will be out soon. I interviewed a couple guys there that were, well, I interviewed one guy, but I took a tour. Andrew gave me a full tour of the Cow Palace, all the bones of the place, got to know the history of it. And it's going to be an upcoming episode. And they put my name on the fucking marquee. I couldn't believe it. The same one that when I would drive down Geneva Boulevard, or Geneva Avenue, sorry, to go to a concert, you'd come down that long road and there the marquee would be there. It'd be like AC/DC and Nantucket. And you'd be like, we're here. Holy shit, we are here. Judas Priest screaming for vengeance. Grateful Dead, Wall of Sound. Elvis. I mean, I didn't see Elvis, but that name has been on the marquee, and they put my name on the marquee on their Saturday, and it was just insane. It said, Cow Palace welcomes Dean Del Rey, and it just had the Grail artwork and Let There Be Talk artwork, and my fucking head just popped off. It popped off. God, thank you guys. So listen out for that episode coming up real soon. Thank you, everybody. And next road shows are in Elko, Nevada. That's coming up. And a Sacramento Punchline is coming up. DeanDelRey.com for all of your tour dates. And thank you to everybody that's been buying the merch. Wow, it's been kicking ass. We do have a Dark Fonzie shirt coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Let's get into it right now. Let's bring up the king of the classic rock. He has a brand new record coming out in January. What am I fucking talking about? January. It's coming out June 11th, I believe. And he's got some video action out there. Check out this DVD put out a little while ago. Dennis DeYoung sings Styx in Los Angeles. I watched it and it was fire. Like I said, this guy's voice is smoking, and this guy's on it. I mean, he is on it. He's funny, upbeat human. Here he is. Candles are lit. Mr. Dennis DeYoung. Well, look who's here today on Let There Be Talk. Dennis DeYoung.
Thank you very much, everyone. And please pick up your souvenir postcards as you leave the radio. What is this? It's not a radio, it's a podcast. Hell, my plumber's got a podcast, for Christ's sake.
Everybody's got a podcast. It's just a matter of anybody has listeners. I've been doing this thing 10 years.
just did some research on you. You're a rockin' Harley riding comedian.
That's right. That's right. I'll tell you a little funny story. I don't know what year it was, but I saw you at the Oakland Coliseum on the Paradise Theater tour. It was mind-boggling.
1981.
Wow. I'll never forget it. I remember there was like the guy came out with the broom and he was kind of like sweeping the floor, and then the show started. And at the end, he swept the floor again like the show was over or whatever. I don't know if I have it backwards, but the show was unreal.
Well, thank you so very much. And it was I was a pinnacle, as they say when you're playing cards. It was a pinnacle of our career in terms of a live show. We repeated it again when we reunited in 1996 with the Return to Paradise Theater tour. But it was such a performance that stuck with our audience more than anyone we ever did. Everyone remembers the janitor. I had this idea that what if the show starts and there's no band? And, I stole everything I could from Pink Floyd. Nonetheless, this janitor comes out, he sweeps the stage with a stage light, and the big drop looks like you're looking at the back of a theater. And I thought, it was the opening and closing of the theater. It was great fun. And hey, man, I lived at the greatest time in the history of mankind to be a musician. Never before, I don't think, ever in the future will so many of us have the opportunities that I had in my life. I'm not kidding, Dean. I was lucky by birth.
I truly believe that too. I came in just a hair behind Zeppelin, so I missed them, but I saw everybody else besides Zeppelin and Skynyrd. And to be able to see live music at $12.50, $15 a ticket in these incredible shows, and also an incredible time. I look at bands like you, Foreigner, The Cars, and Boston that just had mega hits, hit after hit after hit. So when you went to see the band, it was just fire all the way through. I used to say there's no piss tracks when you're seeing, Styx or The Cars. There's no track to go take a piss because they're all hits.
Yeah, it's funny because our shows were long, so some of us had catheters. But that nobody knows that. So does anybody watch your pet podcast? Because I don't want that to become public.
Yeah. Now, let's get into it. First of all, look behind you. It is a hall of fame back there. Look at that.
No. Dean, I'm in my double wide. That's a green screen. That's Sting's house. And he loaned me all those A&M records. You know what? Look, are you ready?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Goes for a while. Hold on. Not as good as Gene Simmons' house, but anyway.
More hits though.
I call this the Hall of Ghosts. I come down here and I look at it and I go, so what have you done for me lately, you big ass? Anyway, so yeah, people forget because why should they remember? But we had a run there from 75 to 84 that was pretty remarkable. And all I can say is not bad for a kid with an accordion and Beatle dreaming. I played accordion from the age of 7 because my mother was Italian and it happened to be the law. So, I had this accordion and I had a little band in 1962 with 2 other Italians across the street, the Panazzo brothers. And we were playing music to make our parents happy. Because let's face it, Dean, you and I are big show-offs only for one reason. We're trying to please either our mom and our dad because we weren't being loved enough, we thought. How do I get more love from my parents? Come on, you know this. Which was, mom or dad? For me, it was my mother. So I worked really hard, and then we're playing music. I'm playing the accordion, as they say, and making all this music to try to make our parents happy, make them smile. And then 2964. Okay, the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, my God.
There they were. And here's the story. My friend Dave, who had Beatle boots, immediately, he was the trend guy. Whatever was happening, he was wearing it. So he said, we got to watch the Beatles. We can't go to the Sunday night dance. We cannot. We got to wait, and then we'll go. And so I said, okay. So, yeah, Beatles. I didn't like I Want to Hold Your Hand. I heard it on the radio, said, this is BS. So I'm sitting there. Close your eyes and I'll kiss. My life was changed. 8 notes. That was the end of me. I looked at it and I went, yeah, I was like Jackie Gleason. I sat down on the couch, I watched it. And the next day I said to the Panazos, I said, let's start playing rock and roll music. That's my life. And that's why I'm sitting here today.
It's so incredible how everybody on this show, it's either the Beatles, Ed Sullivan, or it's Zeppelin, or it's Kiss. Those are the gateways in, just depends your age. And that impact, or also Elvis, if somebody's really old on here.
My Uncle Lee, I lived in the 2-flat because like I said, I just thought about this morning when I was getting up. Nobody in my neighborhood wore a suit to work. Nobody. I couldn't. Who wore suits on Sunday to church? That's it. So in my neighborhood, I live in a 2-flat. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like an apartment. And my grandparents lived downstairs. My Uncle Lee, who was only 4 years older than me, he was an actual greaser, not pretend, with the Lucky Strikes and the T-shirt and the real dark blue jeans and the engineer boots. He loved Elvis. So I heard him in the house all the time. And but I was a little young in 57. I must have been, when was he on Sullivan? 55, 56?
I think it's 55, but I could be wrong. I did know it forever.
I was too young to grasp it. So, although my uncle could imitate Elvis, he was absolutely amazing. So I heard the music all the time, and I bought the Elvis 45s, but the Beatles were it was so transformative. The greatest job creators in the history of the music business are the Beatles.
Yeah, you're right. And also dream makers, the greatest, dream makers for all those people sitting on the couch that didn't know what they wanted to do in life. That day, it was I got to get an instrument. I got to get a bowl cut, haircut, I got to get some cool clothes and let's do this.
Yeah. And my new album, the first song is called Hello, Goodbye. And it's a tribute to the Beatles as seen through the eyes of a fan. And so I stole all their great ideas, jammed them in one song, used song titles to drive the lyric. I was thrilled to do it because my last album that came out a year ago, it's just like a volume 1 and volume 2 of this thing called 26 East. I sang a duet with Julian Lennon called To the Good Old Days.
Wow.
So can you imagine? Now you've in your job, you've probably got to meet and talk to people that when you were the little kid, you saw, how could this possibly happen?
Totally. Yeah. Paul Stanley of Kiss had him on the show. I was like, wow, you're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I'm alive.
Yeah. So it's a crazy world. A lot of times things go haywire, as we know, like right now, where things are, they're so upside down. We've never seen anything like this. And I've been in my house now 13 months with my wife, just her and I. We've been married 51 years. And the sad part about all this is that she's insisted upon 6-foot distancing in the house. I don't know.
51 years you've been married. You guys met in high school?
Okay. None of this is made up, although it's show business and lying is encouraged. Listen to me. 2 weeks after the Beatles, I go back as a Sunday night Catholic high school dances at Mendel Catholic. I go back. I met my wife. Within 2 weeks in February of 1964, my professional and my personal life was set. Can you imagine?
That's crazy.
I'm glad nobody told me that. I'd have just had a stroke and died right on the spot.
That's insane, man. Like the map was laid out for you.
Yeah. And it was just, my whole life has been balanced between hard work, some talent, and the biggest amount of dumb, stupid luck I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm grateful for all three, but the dumb, stupid luck, man, you know this. You got to have some.
You got to have some. Let me ask you, when you see the Beatles and you realize you want to start playing rock and roll, at what point? Because back then everybody sang in bands. If you look at all the bands, there was multiple singers: Beatles, Kiss, Styx, Foreigner. At what point do you guys start to try to construct some of these harmonies? Because the key thing of Styx is these incredible harmonies. Do you right away have other guys that were singing? Was everybody a singer in the group pre-Styx?
Everybody could sing, but really the original band, with John Serleski, not with Tommy Shaw.
Right.
We formed in 70, finally, when I hired James Young to play guitar to replace a guy who quit. So we walked in the rehearsal hall the first day, and JC, who as the lead singer was okay, but he could sing falsetto as high as you can imagine. He sounded just like a girl. And so when JY got on the middle harmony with his piercing voice and me on the melody, the first day we sang, we went, what the heck was that? Now, you can put a lot of singers together in a lot of rooms, but every once in a while, 3 voices will come together or 2 voices and make something special. So the Styx harmonies, once again, were dumb, stupid luck. We just ended up in the same room one day. And so every song I ever wrote for Styx was not written for the world, other musicians. It was written directly because I knew those 3 voices would be singing the harmonies on the chorus. And so when I look at the band, I thought, we all play good. We're good players. None of us is Eddie Van Halen. Okay. None of us is Keith Emerson, but we're good players. And we're decent lead singers. But when we sing together, something really unique happens. So I really focused my writing on making those choruses or hooks, taking advantage of those singers. And so when Tommy Shaw came in November 75, he plugged right into those harmonies beautifully. And plus, he was a quality lead singer. And look, you can get guys to play the guitar or the keyboards or almost, you can get really close to sounding like the original person. But the human voice, the footprint of the human voice is so special and so unique that it's hard to replace. Don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because also, I think that if you take a key guy out of a band, not only voice, but chemistry, there it is, it's gone. Yeah, I mean, you can get very lucky once in a while, say an AC/DC with Brian Johnson or something like that, Iron Maiden. But it's very, very rare that you can capture lightning in the bottle twice. And so chemistry.
Okay, honest to God now. Hold up your right hand.
Yeah.
Bon Scott or the other guy?
Well, I'm Bon Scott. I got him tattooed on my body.
They backed us up a couple, 2, 3 times.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I looked at he had the whiskey on the stage.
Yeah.
And we were playing in the Antarctic at the time. So he's swigging the stuff and he's singing. I'm thinking, I thought to myself, well, that guy might be the real deal. It's Angus, right? The guitar player. Yeah. I said, if anybody had a better shtick, I don't know who it was, because the minute he starts with that schoolboy uniform on, bouncing across the stage doing that thing, it's a combination of breaking out laughing and just fun, and just really digging it, because they were a great band. I mean, live, as you probably know.
Oh yeah.
But this is what I would say: it's the rarest of rare when you can sing and play the same 4 or 5 notes for 30 or 40 years and still be interesting. That's rare. You know what I mean? And so Bon Scott wasn't singing a lot of notes, but whatever ones he sang, you believed.
How many songs did you write before you write Lady?
We were a cover band in Chicago, very successful. That's why James Young wanted to join the band, because we had the Scarole, we were making the bucks. Because I see myself as a guy in show business. My job is to entertain people. Put 20 people or 20,000, put me on the stage. I'm born to do that. I know how to do it. So I'm a pleaser when it comes to, I think, okay, how do we make everyone like me? So I'm not a songwriter. I'm singing All Good People. Okay, I'm singing Whole Lot of Love. This is what I do for a living.
Whole Lot of Love. Wow.
Oh yeah, I used to sing. Hold on, I was great. Get out of here. You kidding me? Never heard. Yeah. It's on. You could hear it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
In the studio acoustically with Styx on Scott Shannon's show. It's on there. You can hear it. Oh yeah, I could do that. I'm a faker. So anyway, I'm not a songwriter. Don't know the first thing about it. We get a record deal.
How do you get a record deal as a cover band?
We had done a group of demos and send them into a local record company, and they heard them and they said, okay. But I still, on that whole reel, I really wasn't the songwriter. It was the other 2 guys that wrote more than me. So I had written one song on that, but we were really good live. So they signed us. And now I got to write a song. I said, okay. I sit down during the recording of the first album and I write, Lady, this is true. I don't know what it is because I'd never written one. I don't know what it's just something I thought of. And Lady was the first song I ever sang by myself on a song I'd written on an album. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
So, but here's the real story. This is for all you people out there struggling, because we all are wondering if anything good will ever happen to us. Is life absolutely convinced that we don't belong on earth and everything is going to get in our way to screw us up? Listen to this. I write Lady. I give it to the producer for the first album. He says, nah, we'll save it for the second album. Instead, he has us do a cover of a George Clinton song. So, okay, they made us put 4 covers on the first album. It was a mistake. It was stupidity. But anyway, second album, Lady, comes out. They release it as a single. It is the biggest stiff.
Really?
3 radio stations play it. And the album doesn't sell any. And that album, Styx 2, had 7 songs. 5 of them were mine. It was my coming out party as a songwriter. So I was the opposite of Sally Fields. I said, they hate me. They really hate me. So I'm going, I suck. I'm not a songwriter. Nobody likes me. You know how I'm not. Do I have to tell you how insecure you guys like you and I are really underneath this big bullshit facade?
I hear you.
Am I telling you anything you don't know?
No.
There's a lot of bravado. That's how we fool people.
Yeah.
So the next 2 albums, I don't know what to do. I'll write like this person. I'll sing like that person, because you think they hate me. So we're going, our 4th album, Man of Miracles, we're going to go up to the FM station in Chicago to drop off an album.
Right.
Below them is WLS, which at the time was the most powerful AM radio station in America. 50,000 clear watt. Okay, it's the behemoth. We knock on the door. We think we'll leave an album for the girl. They're not letting us in there. That's like trying to see the Pope. You're not. Styx, who are you? Don't come in here. The girl says, oh, Jim Smith, the program director, would like to see you. Okay, maybe he wants to sweep up. All right, so in we go. We're in the conference room. There's this guy walks in. I don't know him. And JY hands the guy the album, Man of Miracles. And he says, I'm not going to play anything from this. But tonight at 8:00, I'm going to play Lady once a night because I think it's a hit record. Okay, wait a minute. So Lady was 2.5 years ago, which in dog years or music years is 20 years.
Just death.
Yeah. So he played it. And that's why you and I are having this discussion today, 50 years later, because that guy, dumb, stupid luck, had been a DJ at another station. When it came out and loved the song, he decided to play it. Can you imagine this?
So he was a DJ at another station 2 years before, loved Lady, becomes a program director at the most powerful AM station, and decides, I still think Lady's a hit. It was just never given the proper glory, and starts playing this?
Yeah, that would never happen.
Never.
Impossible.
Oh my God, what a story. I thought Lady came out just guns slinging and you guys were off to the races.
I believe a lot. I know who I am, my friend. I know I'm not a stupid person, but that slow rise that we took informed me for the rest of my life how ephemeral life is and the difference between a guy like me being successful and having to go back to being a school teacher, which is what I was before I got a record deal. So I'm telling this to your audience, things happen in the universe. A lot of times shitty things. Can you say shitty here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But sometimes suddenly the window opens, fresh air blows in, and you better be ready when that happens. That's all there is to it. So that happened to me. So to answer your question with the longest answer in recorded history, I was not a songwriter. But when Lady was a hit, I went, then I was Sally Fields.
Yeah.
You liked me. You really. And then I said, I kind of took over the structure within the band and said, I know what it is they want from us. Because Lady was a gold single. The album went gold. And I said, we started recording Equinox, which is one of our best records. I took control. I said, this is where we got to go. We had 8 songs on there. 7 of the 8 were written or co-written by me. I sing 7 of the 8 of them. And I said, this is what people like. And I still love that album, but it would have never happened if that guy hadn't have played Lady, because I'd have still thought, hey, you go back to the accordion because you're a loser.
Oh, man. Were you taking vocal lessons at the time? Because I just watched the 2014 live in Los Angeles, Dennis DeYoung, the Styx. Your voice was knocking me the fuck out, dude. It's just fantastic still right now. No tune down, no, nothing, man.
None of that shit. Hold on a second. I hate because you reached down. Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling. That guy.
That's insane. Let's hear that. Let me hear some more of that.
Oh, okay. Give me one of your love. Oh, man. I love that.
You start recording. Let me go over these songs. It's so mind-boggling. Lady, Blue Collar Man, Too Much Time on My Hands, Best of Times, Fooling Yourself, Renegade, Come Sail Away, Rockin' in Paradise, Mr. Roboto, Babe, I'm Leaving, Crystal Ball. It's unreal, dude, these hits. It is unreal.
You know, the most important thing, that I learned from the Beatles was it's the songs.
That's all. I said that over and over.
Songs here, singers right underneath that. Everything else fill in with minor exception. Like Van Halen, he was a special player. And once in a while you'll get those. But really, songs, singers. How can all these classic rock bands drag their tired old asses around the country with half the band missing, or in Foreigner's case, all of them but Sweet Mick?
All
gone.
of them sometimes. Mick's not even there.
What? Let me ask you a question. Why are people coming? Songs.
Yeah.
Those songs are indelible. And I figured something out recently. Here's all I've ever done. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm just a kid with an accordion who found some chords he liked, stuck some notes on the chords, and then figure out some words to go on those notes. And then I told you about my life and my feelings, hoping you would find yourself in my story. That's it. If I get my story right, you're going to find yourself in it. Because, like I said, in 77 with the Grand Illusion album, deep inside, we are all the same. No matter how much bullshit or hubris we put on, fundamentally, we're all human beings. And that's a lesson that seems so difficult for all of us to learn. We want to divide ourselves for a myriad of reasons. Race is the easiest one because you can look and see, right? So that person looks different. But if we don't have race, we'll figure out some other way to not like each other. But it's nonsense because ultimately we're all human beings and we share the same neighborhood. And there's no better rule ever invented than the golden rule, which is do unto others. If you just, if we just follow that, we'll be okay. And my sermon is now officially over.
Let's get into a little bit of your early days of Moog and synth. Were you into Kraftwerk or Devo or anything? Where were you hearing the synth stuff?
Well, we were way before Devo.
Right.
It was Keith Emerson. 1970, Lucky Man. I said, what's that? Because Keith Emerson said this to me. Those show-off guitar players you're always having to compete with? You can now be one of them for a brief moment in time. And let me tell you something. When there's a keyboard solo, which I've played my share of, I be on stage doing the best I know how, and a lot of the audience will be still staring at the guitar players playing chords. I mean, that's this is the life of a guitar player versus a keyboard player. We have always been second-class citizens in this business. Guitar players are king. I'm not that fond of. I only have them because I need them. They're so full of themselves. Oh, look, it's a phallic symbol. I can do this down here. You can see it. I don't care what keyboard player you are. They can't see your hands. Either they're going to see the side of your face or the front of your instrument, right? Yeah. And if you play a guitar, you should be banished from keyboard heaven. That's what I think.
Guitar.
Look at me. I'm a guitar player. No, you're not. You're an asshole.
I love you. Now, look, we all saw Behind the Music. We know what happens. You guys are going full force. You want to do Mr. Roboto, and boom, the band disintegrates as far as you being in it and everything. You know, looking back on that, I love that song. And I also love that you took a risk of like, hey, let's try some different stuff. It might not work. It might work. You had a hit with the song, you know, so it did work technically, but it created a riff in the band. And how do you look back on that now? You still like that record, right?
Well, you mean the album or the single?
Well, the single's great.
Oh, the single's great. Here's the story. In 1983, I came up with this remember the guy who had the idea for the janitor?
Yeah.
That guy had another idea. This was it. It's a long story. If I tell your listeners now what the whole concept was, they'll tune off and they'll go back to watching porn. So here's the deal. I got this big idea and the guys go along with it. We make the record, comes out. I got this idea. We're going to do acting on stage as characters within this story. And it worked every single night, no matter where we played it. But the album was just okay. It was good, but it wasn't one of our best. And during that time, Tommy, who had a rather intimate relationship with cocaine and champagne for some time, had a guy whispering in his ear through the whole tour that he could be a star as a solo artist. This is what was going on. Did any of us know this? No, we didn't know it. And so I know you know people who have used too much cocaine or used it continually.
Yep.
And I think about your life, and I don't care. You can talk to your shrink about that and your priest. But you know how people are in cocaine. One day you have one person in the room, and the next day, who that man? Am I right or wrong?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm a star. I'm acting. I'm out of here.
Wah! Yeah. So anyway, in the middle of the tour, the success came down with Kilroy, because if you look back at 83, 82, music was changing. I went and looked at Lee Joel's, anybody who released the album from our era in the 70s between 82 and 83, they had the lowest amount of their album sales, okay, of the last five, because music was changing. So anyway, we lost about a third of our audience because we had 4 albums in a row that sold 3 million copies consecutively. So that album sold 2 million. But Tommy, under the influence of what I call a solo whisperer, he quit on the stage in front of like 12,000 people in Washington, D.C. and told us that was it.
Right on stage?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is there video of that?
Yeah. No, he didn't quit like, ladies and gentlemen, I quit.
Oh, yeah.
He just bashed his guitar, and he told us later after the gig. So this is the truth. So the 4 of us went like this. Do what? Because we didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
So we went, oh my God. Off he went. JY, James Young, John and Chuck Panasso, the other 3 guys said they were so furious because after the experience of Kilroy, we were looking forward to 84 to do a big live album and finally do a stadium tour where we just played greatest hits. I had promised James Young, I gave him my word, if he supported the Kilroy tour, we would do that. And he did. He supported me. And then Tommy quits. The other 3 guys, you know what they said to me? Replace him.
Yeah.
We have to replace him. This is what they kept saying to me. And I thought about going out on the stadium tour the next year without him. And I thought, well, wait a minute. Do we all own mirrors? Can we take a good look and see how the success of this thing called Styx works? Okay, not live in an imaginary bubble of our own making, but say, do you know what Tommy means to this thing? You know, this is an integral part. Tell Brian May, have a nap. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And so I said, no. I said, let him do this solo album. Let him get it out of his system. You know, he'll come back. That was my belief. And then every year I get a call from JY on behalf of the band asking me to replace him. And I just thought there was truly a special chemistry between us and particularly Tommy and I. Am I crazy to think that? I don't think so.
No. I mean, Blue Collar Man, all that. I mean, the vocal play off each other and just, yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to plug somebody else into that role. And so that's what happened. I didn't get kicked out of the band in 83. Tommy quit and the band didn't break up. I said, hiatus. So there's the story of Kilroy. Now, as far as the song on the album goes, the show and the song Roboto were better than the album. This happens. Yeah. It wasn't like anybody in the band kept great rock songs off the record. The songs on the album, Dean, are the songs we wrote at that time. So that's a misconception. But one, my former bandmates have happily propagated because they had to tell a story. In 1998, after two very successful tours in 96 and 7, comeback tours, Styx is back. I remember the first night we played on the comeback tour, I walked on stage. It was in Iowa, and 10,000 people erupted. And I looked at it, with different eyes from the first time. I looked at it and I said, I never thought I would ever see this again. And it happened. And it happened in 96 and 7. 98, we're preparing to do our studio album. I got, this is very timely, what I believe is a coronavirus in 98. Oh, I just thought I got a head cold and the flu. I got so sick. I go to the doctors because I couldn't get better. And I would say, I lost my sense of smell and taste. And I got this symptom. And I had like 10 symptoms. And they look at me, smell and taste. Interesting. Nobody knew what happened to me. And ultimately, I was out of commission for a year and a half because I developed the post-viral symptom, which made me light sensitive.
Whoa.
But I didn't know it. So anytime I was in bright light, which was all the time, I'd feel fatigued. And so ultimately, we finally got back to trying to record a record. And they wanted Tommy and JY. There was 3 of us left at the time. Just 3. Chuck retired because Chuck had gotten full-blown AIDS.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. He's still around. God bless him. He got the right drugs. But he was one of the first to get them. This was 1999.
Wow.
So the 3 of us, and I said, let's go. We want to go on a tour. We're almost done with this album. I said, I just realized I figured out that I was light sensitive. And so I said, just give me another 6 months to recovery, get my strength back. I'm in. And they said, they gave me a date, either show up for this day of rehearsal or we're going to replace you. Dean, that's what they did. And that's the band, those 2 guys. And Chuck, when he's well enough, he comes and plays with them. But those 2 guys have been using the name Styx for the last 23 years. So that's what happened to me. And so what I'm telling you is any bad things you hear about Styx or they hated each other, we never hated each other. We liked each other. We never really fought. We didn't have screaming matches. We created a wonderful catalog of music. And I want all the fans to remember, whenever you hear bad things in that, rejoice. Dean, rejoice in the music that was created.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it, because you like Italian sausage? I love Italian sausage. Do you like it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't have to go watch you make it to like it.
No. That's so right. You talk to those guys at all?
Not in 23 years. Now, Chuck and I recently have been communicating via email quite a bit. My latest release, Isle of Misanthrope. I don't know if did they send that to you?
Yeah, I got it. Listen to it. It's good, man. The voice sounds fantastic.
Did you see the video? The video's a kick, man.
It's crazy, man. You guys got the glasses on, and I love the video.
Yeah, well, why do we have those glasses on? What is that?
Light sensitive. I didn't know.
No, that and the blindest of mankind. All the monks dressed the same. They all look like the same guy. They all got your thing going and the glasses. It's about the conformity. All the monks are dressed the same with the glasses. Blind men. Anyway, Chuck, we're going back and forth, and I included him in this video I did with Julian Lennon called "To the Good Old Days," where I used all the band photos of me and him and his brother when we were kids, and I had to get his permission.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I talked to him in 20 years. And he said, absolutely. I love this video. I can't thank you enough, blah, blah, blah. And so with the Misanthrope video, he just wrote me and he said, man, the folly of mankind, you've hit it right on the head. So we have an email relationship. But as far as the other guys, I've been saying publicly for 6 years, guys, one last tour. Let's resurrect the Paradise Theater and let the janitor walk one last time for all these fans who never got the chance to see us, so they can see Mo, Larry, and Curly and Shemp on the stage one last time, and then I'll walk away. But so far, I've been met with resistance. And recently, you know, the big promoters in the country got involved and went to Tommy, because he really runs that band. It's his band. And Tommy doesn't want to do it.
That's nuts.
Full of Styx fans. And I know there's lots of you who've put up with all the nonsense and shenanigans of all these years. I want to do it. If you look over there, you see my bags are packed? Yeah, my bags are packed over in the corner. I'll go get my COVID shots, and we'll be in a theater or an amphitheater near you soon. But no. So anyway, it's a full circle thing to say, I'm the luckiest guy in the face of the earth, because some guy, for no good reason, started playing Lady. If he hadn't played Lady, Dean, I'd be back teaching school, and you would have never, ever heard of Styx, ever. Isn't this, somebody tell me what's going on with life. I don't understand.
That's the kind of story that I absolutely love. And also there's multiple heroes in that story. One of them is you guys pressing forward with 4 albums, not doing shit. The second one is the golden age of the old record companies, where they let you do 4 or 5 records before they dropped you. I mean, there would be no Slippery When Wet or New Jersey if they dropped Bon Jovi after his first record, or any of these bands that got to make multiple records and then all of a sudden had a giant one. So the old business was the heroes too, of like, well, you know, let's just let them do another one. And that kind of stuff just does not happen anymore at all.
Well, you and I could probably talk for 6 hours about the pathetic nature of the music business, but it comes down to this. People have made a choice, and here's how it goes. They like rap music.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what you and I think or anybody thinks. They like pop stars. They like pretty things and shiny things. And the country people are still the country people, although they like their pop music. The rock fan, by and large, has been usurped by those other 3 things. And why? I have my theories. It's not because Gene Simmons and we've discussed this about rock is dead, not the music. Not the music for the people who still want to play it or hear it, but the business infrastructure to deliver this music to an audience is gone. But I do believe this, and we have to admit it. If people were still going out and buying rock records, there'd be big radio stations playing it, because radio stations, they're a business. If I play this music, all these people listen, then the advertisers give me dollars to sell Coca-Cola. But apparently the taste for rock music has really diminished. Yes or no?
I think it is gone back to when I was in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, seeing Styx and Ted Nugent and AC/DC and Cheap Trick and stuff. It was a few kids around the locker with patches. Dude, look at this, man. Van Halen, badass. It was never stadium. So I think that it's gotten back to, and I believe this, a cool factor of like people that really are underground or hip or into stuff like rock. And rock exploded in the 80s into the 90s into arenas and stuff. And now I think it's just kind of back to where it was when I first discovered it, other than, you know, Bill Graham putting together massive shows at like Dan the Greens and stuff like that. Nobody was playing arenas. They were doing those killer theaters, and bands like Def Leppard and all that were, you know, in that kind of just 7,500 seats. And I think that's kind of where it is now. There's more great rock music than ever. I can't even keep up with it. It comes at me every day. I'm always looking for it. I do think, like you said, and I've said it a million times on the show, without a song you don't got shit. You can have the stylist put a wallet chain and a leather jacket on the guy, but if you don't have a song, it's not going to hit. And it's also way cheaper to do hip hop. You can just basically just a loop and some samples and stuff. So you can do 100 hip hop records, and if one hits, you've hit. Rock still, you can do it at home and Pro Tools and everything, but still it does need, it's 5 guys. It starts to cost money. So I do see that,
I think, people make a choice. They like what they like. You and I can't talk somebody into liking something they don't like. And I think that's what's happened with rock. And let's be honest, we have been beating this horse since 1954.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 15 years, if you go from that to 1970 or 75, everything was new.
Yeah.
Everything. And then, the formula's there. And then this guy comes along and and they beat that same horse. I'm just thinking the horse has been beaten a lot. So, but the key is always, you and I know, and I'm so happy to hear you say this. It's songs, baby.
Songs. Let's be honest. The majority of concert tickets, the 100% almost, is classic rock. The arenas of say Styx, if you were in the band, Boston, if they had the guys, all the guys, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, all these guys could sell out zillions of tickets. And even now, Foo Fighters, who've been around for 25, 30 years or whatever, AC/DC, that's all the ticket sales. If you look at Polestar, it's all rock ticket sales. So they're out there.
Business infrastructure. There's no rock radio. I just released I Love Misanthrope.
Yeah.
There's no place to play that song because most of this, I shouldn't say all, the vast majority of stations that play rock music, play old rock music, not new. And I've had this argument with classic rock stations for 30 years, but I can't argue with their data. They claim, and they'll go to the guillotine, that the people who like classic rock don't want to hear new music, not even from David Gilmour.
Yeah. I mean, that is a tricky thing too. That is a very tricky thing of, we're going to play one off our new album. Oh man, let's go get a beer. It's this weird thing of the fan too. Like, I remember not knowing Lady. And if you said, we're going to play a song off our new album, Lady, and I heard it, I'd be like, God, that's a goddamn hit. So the fan has to, that's what I always said. Like, I love the Black Crowes. And after the first record, a lot of people just trailed off. And the next 3 records were masterpieces. And people go, Black Crowes, Wallflowers, those guys still around, that type of stuff. I'm like, hey man, they've been making records for years. You just only like the flavor of the month, but some of their stuff later smokes, Jealous Again by the Black Crowes. They did stuff like, No Speak, No Slave, or, the Amorica record. And that kind of stuff is the part-time fan, How
old are you?
I'm 55.
My son has seen the Black Crowes 16 times.
Yeah. I've seen him like 40 times, 50 times, 60.
And he's in the Misanthrope video and on that's my son playing drums, the big guy. So he loves the Black Crowes. And, when I heard the Otis Redding cover, I said, not only was it a great arrangement, that's a great sounding record.
Yeah.
It's hard to record great rock music because it's based so much on distortion.
Yeah.
Like I said about mixing records, especially rock records, what you end up with is 20 pounds of shit that go into a 2-pound bag. That's mixing. How do we take all these wonderful sonic ideas and shove them into 2 tracks? Yeah. So the Black Crowes made some really good sounding records along with some great tunes.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, George Drakoulias, that guy's a genius producer. You get into Rick Rubin knows all about rock and hip hop. And if he likes something, I think you get into trust. And Rubin had a label where he trusted him. He's like, well, I'm doing Johnny Cash. I'm going to do Slayer. I'm going to do Run DMC. I'm going to do the Black Crowes. and you put in a trust in a label that's not all about geared around singles and money. It's about building something and quality art.
We do the best we can. Remember, as I said in my last video, breaking news, this just in, nobody knows nothing. That's my new mantra. Nobody knows nothing. Remember, we're only human beings on this planet. We're not even sure what consciousness is. So before we start shooting off our big mouths, which I'm very good at, so are you. That's how we fool all these people.
Yeah,
we ought to take a step back in our personal lives and say, "Gee, I wonder what the hell is actually going on."
It's true. It's so good. So good to talk to you. Congrats on this record. Comes out in what, June?
June 11th. You can go check out the Isle of Misanthrope video. It's on YouTube. It's free. It doesn't cost you nothing. If you pay your electric bill or your service provider, it's all good. And look, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I watched your stand-up. You're funny. And I wish you the best, man. Get out. Do me a favor, though. Careful on your Harley, dude.
Oh, yeah. I stopped riding. I got ran over.
Oh, you did stop?
Yeah, I rode 35 years, never got hit. And then a few years back, a woman ran me over a carjacking and hit me doing 70 miles an hour and got away. So I'm lucky to be alive. And I'll tell you one thing, as I was sliding down the highway, waiting for her to run me over, the first thing that came to my mind was no regrets. I've lived a great life, no regrets. So if you can say that on your deathbed, you have done the right thing.
Get your motor running.
Head on the highway.
Listen to them. Thank you, my friend. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah. You in Chicago?
Yeah, I live in Chicago.
Okay, when I come out there to do comedy, I'll hit you up and you come see. Bring your wife and your son and come see me.
All right, my friend.
I love you, dude.
Cheers. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Candles lit, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.